New Zealand has a wall of deep blue ocean all around it. But modern jetliners, ships of all sizes, and millions of visitors can potentially bring drugs, illegal goods, biosecurity risks, and animal diseases. Day and night, men, women, super smart technology, and clever animals are constantly watching the border to protect the country we call home. The crucial layer of defence, New Zealand's Border Patrol. Tonight on Border Patrol, 3 Israeli men admit to sex, pubs and rock and roll.
I hang out in some pubs. We went to a whorehouse.
But wait, there's much more.
Do you know what this is? Yeah, let's have a look at it.
A chartered flight of Ukrainian fishermen bring enough booze to sink their ship.
Vodka. You all like your vodka, don't you?
And in Queenstown, border staff find a bag that carries a smell from hell.
Oh my God, is the aircon on? Yeah.
It's just after midnight at Auckland International Airport. 3 of the 14 million passengers who pass through every year are about to collect their bags. The arrivals hall is mostly empty apart from 3 men off a flight from Singapore. They appear very relaxed. But what's about to happen next, once they're confronted by MPI, Biosecurity, Customs and Immigration New Zealand, is a total game changer. These agencies work closely together. The men are just metres away from crossing the border when Biosecurity Officer John spots an anomaly when their luggage passes through the X-ray.
What?
John's colleague helps with a second opinion.
Do you know what this is? Yeah, let's have a look at it. We both thought the long, round things of popcorn. So I pulled it off the belt. She took it down to the end of the search bench area and started doing a search.
These your bags?
After searching the bags, nothing organic is found, but after being emptied, the bags still seem to be on the heavy side. This, and those unusual X-ray images, means these Israeli men won't be going anywhere just yet. Just after midnight at Christchurch International Airport, it's brass monkey weather. But for a charter flight full of Russian and Ukrainian fishermen, it's positively tropical. They're here for a 6-month tour of duty on fishing boats, but with 280 to process, customs staff know they're in for a long night.
So we're going to take the opportunity to check to see what they might be bringing in with them, because in the past they haven't always been, let me say, honest with what they've been bringing. So we'll just see, and hopefully they'll comply with our laws.
Some of the first men through seem to prove Ali's point as Customs Officer Paresh discovers undeclared cigarettes.
Grandfather.
You are 2 seconds. Do you have any more in here?
Grandfather, 75 years.
I understand, sir. Do you have any more in here?
Being a charming old granddad is no defence against exceeding the maximum tobacco allowance.
Do you have any more? No?
Huh?
Any more? Any more cigarettes?
Here. Yes.
At Queenstown Airport, the clean morning air has been corrupted by a stench coming from a bag off a Sydney flight. Airport authorities have been alerted. AvSec Airport Security call in the emergency services, but with an all clear for explosives, it's safe for Customs drug dog team Josh and Q to check for drugs.
Good, go. Hey, fine. No indication from a drugs point of view, so still don't know what the odour is in there or what's being emitted from there.
There's only one way to find the source of the stomach-churning stink.
For safety's sake, we're going to open up the bag out on the tarmac to make sure that the items are safe to come in.
If the unfamiliar, nauseating smell isn't coming from drugs or explosives, then what is it? Josh carefully opens the bag to try and find out. At Auckland International Airport, 3 Israeli men are in the customs red zone after MPI Biosecurity New Zealand spotted suspect images in their bags on the X-ray machine.
The 3 passengers came into our search area and we started the standard baggage questions straight away.
Apart from some Disneyland souvenirs, customs find nothing colourful in the men's now empty bags, but they seem suspiciously heavy.
So a bag of that kind should be about 4 kilos empty, and it was 10, so that was obviously overweight.
When the 3 bags are unceremoniously cut open, customs staff discover a clear case of concealment.
That's it, There we go, we got that. Still got the same concealment.
Cutting into the foil releases a strong smell of curry powder, a ploy often used by smugglers to confuse drug detector dogs. Then, customs officers find something you wouldn't want in your butter chicken: white crystals. The first offender is now used to analyse the large volume of crystals. 14 of these high-tech tools have been purchased using funds allocated from proceeds of crime. They're easy to use: point, shoot, and wait for the analysis. The first offender reads positive for MDMA, or ecstasy, a Class B drug. The sheer volume these young Israeli men have brought into New Zealand means they are now in some serious hot water. At Auckland International Airport, customs officers have just discovered a huge concealment of MDMA, otherwise known as ecstasy, in the false bottoms of suitcases belonging to 3 young Israeli men. Travel documents reveal they flew from Tel Aviv in Israel to Berlin, where they took a bus to Paris, flying on from there to Singapore and finally Auckland. Customs officers explain to the unusually calm young men they are literally at the end of the line.
Confronted the passengers about what we found. He looked very surprised and did not believe it.
If the men were brazen enough to smuggle such a huge amount of Class B in their bags, they may have drugs on them. But a personal search reveals nothing. Meanwhile, in the safe room, each part of the concealment is being weighed and photographed. A staggering total of 8.7 kilos of MDMA is located.
This is a great find by MPI and Customs. It's great to see the 2 border agencies working together so that we don't see big concealments like this hitting the streets.
The Customs investigation team are on their way to talk to the detained men prior to being questioned by immigration. Their reasons for being here and who they were likely to meet could provide vital information for a successful prosecution. At Christchurch International Airport, border staff are diligently processing 280 contract fishermen from Russia and the Ukraine. Most of the men are cleared to cross the border, but old Popeye has brought an eye-popping amount of cigarettes. He's testing the patience of Customs Officer Paresh. The maximum allowance is 50 grams of tobacco or 50 cigarettes. He's well over.
Do you have any more? No?
Huh?
Any more? Any more cigarettes?
Here.
Just one moment, please. Just leave it there. Thank you.
At Officer Ali's bench, a similar ciggy scenario is unfolding, but with a vodka twist.
What? Vodka. You all like your vodka, don't you? You like vodka? No. No? My friend.
Friend or no friend, this man is also concealing a large amount of tobacco.
What do you know? You tick no, okay, to not having more than 50 cigarettes or 50 grams of tobacco, and this is what you've had. So it's not right, okay?
Meanwhile, Grandad seems to be having a senior moment as Paresh finds packet after packet of cigarettes he said he didn't have.
What's this? Any more? What's this? Okay, do you have any pockets? That's it? Sir, you have got way too many. Next time, if this happens, you'll be in trouble, okay? You understand?
The fisherman's excess tobacco is destined for one place only.
All of them, sorry. These
I'm sorry, sir, they need to go. Thank you.
24 years, no sermon,
I understand, but the rules are the rules.
The red zone is now cluttered with fishermen, fishy stories, booze and cigarettes, enough to set up shop. The reason for exceeding the 50-gram allowance may have something to do with price differential. $3 in Russia, over 25 in New Zealand. Next, Paresh makes the best find of the day.
140 grams. 280 grams.
This man's not only well over the allowance for tobacco, he's concealing more packets in his socks. Finally, border staff have finished searching the fishermen, and it's time to weigh the catch.
We searched just over 40 of the passengers off that charter flight, so we seized just under 13 kilos of a mix of tobacco and cigarettes. The passengers were given an opportunity to either pay for the duty or discard, and they discarded.
Good effort, team, good effort, well done.
At Auckland International Airport, multiple agencies are trying to find out why 3 Israeli men have been so foolhardy as to try and smuggle 8.7 kilos of Class B MDMA into New Zealand.
Same concealment.
It is possible the men are unwitting drug mules. After being interviewed by customs investigators, they're escorted to Immigration New Zealand.
All right, so if you want to look straight at the camera for me.
First job is to record biometric data to make sure the man is who he says he is.
Thank you. What next?
Worries.
There's a party or something?
No.
Most young men in his position would be clearly distraught about being caught with huge amounts of illegal drugs, whether they knew about them or not. But this Israeli man is remarkably relaxed. Charles tries to get more information about their European stopovers.
What did you do in France?
What we do? We saw the Eiffel, the Disneyland.
So when you got to Berlin, what did you do there?
I came there to meet 2 of my friends who live there. I hang out in some pubs. We went to a whorehouse, a big one, that you'll never see in Israel.
Charles changes his line of questioning to see if the man can shed light on where the MDMA stash may have originated from.
So that bag that you had with you today, that was found by customs, when did you obtain that bag?
From a small market in the old city of Jerusalem.
Who gave that bag to you?
The seller.
Seller?
How he looks like.
Yep.
I think he was, no, I'm pretty sure he was from Arab nationality.
Mm-hmm. And at the time when you bought this bag, who was with you?
My 2 friends.
Your 2 friends?
Yes.
What about their luggage?
Also the same place.
Same place? Well, that's a coincidence.
The suspected drug mule continues to stonewall and deny all knowledge of the drugs.
How do you explain these drugs being found in your bags that's been travelling with you all along?
I also want to trust me. I want to speak with my friends, because if it's them, or if they know something about this, I don't know. I'm going crazy.
So you're telling me you think or suspect that someone must have planted that drugs in your and your travel companions' bags?
Maybe someone took it in Berlin or Paris.
Following his interview with immigration, the Israeli man and his travel companions are escorted back to the customs red zone, where investigators make their arrest.
Do you think this is funny?
No, that's the thing. I've never been in my
Well, they have now.
I always see this in movies.
A smuggling crime like this could land the men up to 14 years in prison. For now, they'll be held in custody on remand while they await court dates. At Auckland International Airport, 3 Israeli men have been found with a total of 8.7 kilos of MDMA hidden below false bottoms in their bags.
Still with the same concealment.
All 3 suggested they were unwitting drug mules and denied all knowledge.
Maybe someone took it in Berlin or Paris.
With sketchy stories, all 3 have been arrested and charged with importing Class B. They face a date with justice in a New Zealand court. 11 months and a few court dates later, the 3 Israeli men pled guilty to smuggling a Class B drug with an estimated value of $3.3 million in New Zealand. They're now appearing at the Manukau District Court for sentencing.
The offending is inherently serious. Millions of dollars worth of drugs were being attempted to be imported by you. You were offered €5,000 to smuggle these drugs. You were told that you wouldn't get caught. It was 100% sure. You appreciate now the impact that your offending could have had on New Zealand. So from a starting point of 11 years, I reduced the sentence by 2 years, 9 months. That gets me to a sentence of 8 years and 3 months. The same sentence applies to each of you. Thank you. Stand down.
Once their sentences have been served, the men will immediately be deported home to Israel. A great illustration of border agencies coming together in the fight against the drug trade. Auckland's International Mail Centre processes an incredible 500,000 items each and every week. MPI Biosecurity New Zealand officers continually scan X-rays for any sign of inconsistencies. Today, Biosecurity Officer Eileen has noticed something out of the ordinary.
We've had an item come through X-ray that looks quite interesting. Looks to be a set of animal horns, some type of mask perhaps.
The package is from Germany, a high-risk location for the dreaded foot and mouth disease.
It's very well wrapped, which means somebody thinks it's fragile, which usually means it's something that's real. Seems to be some bone already. Also quite heavy.
Eileen takes care knowing real bones can mean real hair and real flesh, posing a real risk of unwanted hitchhikers.
You can tell already this is real, just by the density, the weight and the fibres.
The mask is large and riddled with nooks and crannies where any number of pests could be hiding.
It's definitely looking more like real hair. It's not shiny like plastic hair would be. And there's also a little bit of a smell, which is not plasticky.
Well, that's a face only a mother could love.
Well, he's not pretty. My concerns here are there's contaminants caught up in the hair. They don't look to be insect, but could be plant material, possibly seeds that have travelled. It's from the length of it, could be potentially horse hair, some sort of cattle hair.
And it certainly cannot come in untreated.
Don't actually know what the face is made of. It might be more bone. And any bone material, ornamental of this nature, needs to be professionally cleaned, needs to be completely free of any kind of extra material. This isn't, so we're going to have to look further.
Further research found the mask originates from traditional Austrian folklore. The importer chose to pay $45 to have it treated with formalin to kill any animal diseases it may be carrying. As it did not contain components from any endangered species, DOC released it. Back at Queenstown Airport, the smell from a mysterious suitcase appears to have gotten worse. AVSEC and emergency services have cleared it for explosives, but the source of the stench needs to be located.
Just appears to be a suitcase full of food items and a few books. All done. Thank you.
Customs have no issue with the bag, so Josh takes it carefully inside the terminal so MPI Biosecurity New Zealand can make follow-up checks. Meanwhile, in the baggage hall, this woman from the Philippines is oblivious to the disruption her suitcase has caused out on the tarmac.
Whole lot of food in there.
Okay.
Full of food.
Great.
So I'll leave it with you if that's right.
Yep, thank you.
Biosecurity NZ officer Tiffany hopes she doesn't find a rotting corpse because that's what it smells like.
It's a fish. Okay, so we will have to open the fish. We'll open it and have a look. So is this fresh mango? Mango fruit? So the mango is not allowed, okay?
The fresh mango could be carrying any number of pests, so into the bin it goes. But it's not what is causing the stench.
That's a durian.
Durian?
Yes.
Durian jam.
The culprit for the strong odour is located. It's durian, a notoriously smelly fruit from Southeast Asia.
That's the source of the smell, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly, the smell of durian is a combination of pig manure, terps, raw onion and smelly socks. Although those who've sampled the fruit report it has a delightful, fresh, creamy flavour.
Okay, so this is the durian here. Oh my God.
There's no insects.
Is the aircon on? Yeah.
While coping with the strong stench, the durian fruit must be checked to ensure it's not bringing in any pests or diseases with it.
You know, lovely smelling product. You know, what more could you ask for?
While the durian may have an offensive smell, it's not carrying any pests or diseases. However, the woman who brought it needs to know the fruit is a serious risk to New Zealand biosecurity.
So, as it's not cooked, it can't come in. It could be harbouring some pests that we don't want to bring in New Zealand. Okay? Yep, so this is not allowed, unfortunately.
The woman's group of fellow travellers don't seem to understand the gravity of the offence, so Tiffany explains.
There is more food that you don't show me, it's $400 fine, okay? So show me all of your food, okay? Can you translate that, please?
More dried fish and snacks are found, but luckily for the group, these are all deemed to be okay to cross the border.
The fish is okay, the fish will come out, so you can keep the fish, you can keep all of this food here, but the mango and the durian is not allowed, okay?
The fresh fruit products are bound for the bin. They'll later be destroyed.
It's actually a good example of agencies working together. It got brought through to us and we discovered some fresh durian in there, which has a very distinctive smell. I don't think anyone here will forget it, so...
The smell from hell has finally dissipated. And 2 kilos of mangoes later, the Filipinos are cleared to enter the fresh air of Queenstown.
Thank you. Drive safe.